Hi, everybody. Wow, it's another fuzzy slipper edition of Cape Conversations, and I've got a great show today. Going to be lots of fun with two ladies that I know pretty well. So come along, let's have another Cape Conversations. Hi, everybody. I'm Melinda Gallant, and I am so excited to be here today to talk to you, Fuzzy Slipper Edition, of course, about SCTV, Sandwich Community Television. I am so lucky to be a part of it, but I'm also so lucky to be joined today by Paula Johnson, the Executive Director, and Denise Dever, the President of the Board of SCTV. Hi, guys. How are you?
Great, how are you?
Good.
Hi, Melinda.
So, Paula, let's start with you. You're the Executive Director. How long have you been the Executive Director?
Since 2009, I've been the director there. And before that, I was involved in the organization.
Gotcha. And what's your role? What do? You just sit around and eat chocolate bonbons in the studio, or?
Yeah, I have my feet up on my desk a lot, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of oversee everything. Yeah. I keep the machine going. All the moving parts, make sure they're still spinning all the time.
And what are those moving parts? Like what? How many channels do you have? Okay,
well, we have, so we might as well just break it down. We've got 3 channels, 3 distinct channels. The first one is public access, and that's for the general public to express themselves, create programs. We also act as a production house too. We make our own programming, documentaries. We help with explaining different aspects of town government. So anyway, that's part of the government channel, but the public channel is basically for the general public to come in and make their own programs. And we assist people in making their programs too. So the other one is the second one is channel 14. That was channel 13. Channel 14 is the education channel, and that's for the public school system. So there is a media center at Sandwich High School. So whatever content they produce, we take that and we put it on channel 14. It's also a vehicle for the Sandwich School Committee to educate people about what they do, and also put their meetings on that channel. And then there's the government channel, which is channel 15, and there's a government live stream. So we stream all the government meetings. Going back to channel 13, that's streamed 24/7 on our website also. So all our public access programming is streamed 24/7 on the website. And then channel 15, the government channel, is streamed on the government stream and on channel 15. And that is all the regulatory boards and the boards in town, the government boards. And any kind of information from the state. We have all the Mass State sessions and legislative sessions on there. So we get those emailed to us, whenever they come up. We put them right on channel 15. So those are the 3. And then we also have WSDH 91.5, which was in the past was WBUR. And when they pulled out probably about 8 years ago, it's up at the high school, and it was always used from 3 to 5 for the high school students. But when BUR pulled out, they really didn't have any way to refurbish the equipment, which was quite outdated, even to the point where the FCC couldn't ding us to check to see that everything was copacetic.
Wow. So
Sandwich TV, with the support of the board, went in and bought all new equipment and new cable up to the antenna, and took over with automated software. So we have that running 24/7 also. And that's programmed by one of our staff who's part-time, like a remote person. And that's Nick Polidor, who's been with us since high school, really.
And so what's the
general overview.
What's the call number for that, for the state radio station?
91.5 FM. It's also on TuneIn app and radio.co.
Oh,
and it's also streams off our website.
Great. So Denise, not to let you off the hook, you're the president of the board, the auspicious board of directors for Sandwich Community Television. So what does the board of directors do? What do you do? And who's on the board? And what is this secret organization?
Well, I think like in any nonprofit or, a board of directors is there to do oversight make sure Paula is doing her job appropriately, make sure she's running the organization appropriately. So we meet 6 times a year now over the course of, I've been on the board for over 10 years, but over the course, we used to meet monthly and then we met less frequently. And now we think every other month is a good is enough to see what's going on. So we have oversight of the financials. We review them. We review the budget. Paula gives us her, her report every time we meet to tell us what's going on. We come from a lot of different backgrounds, and I'll talk about who they are. And that, gives us different approaches and different, ideas so that we can kind of bat it around, and Paula, again, keeps us informed. She's had, and I'm sure she'll talk about the staff, but she's had a pretty, the same staff for quite a long time. But if she wanted to make changes, it's something else that she would talk to the board about, her personnel. And also, again, just making sure she's where she needs to be and there aren't any complaints and all that. It's a very well-run organization. So in my opinion, the job is quite easy. So, I have to say that. No, I'm kidding. So, I've enjoyed it. It's been an education, I think, for all of us that sit on the board as well. I mean, it's stuff that I love when you go into organizations. That's one of the reasons you're interested. You feel like you can offer maybe some advice at times when needed, but you also are learning all the time, which I think is great. That's the point of it. We have, let's see, is there 6 members of the board? And I feel like there should be 7, but anyway, Melinda, I guess I'll start with you because you're right here. Melinda has been on the board, I think now for 3 years, Melinda.
2 or 3
more.
Yeah, 2 or
3 years.
Yeah.
And right. And you should not need any introduction. However, people, if they don't know you, I don't know, you do everything but the kitchen sink. I first met Melinda when we were on the committee for Town Hall preservation, when Town Hall was being redone. And that was good 9 or 10 years ago, 10, I think, this year.
Well, actually,
we worked together on the first.
If I could interrupt you, that's how I got this lovely non-paying job that I get to have so much fun doing. It's because of the Town Hall preservation. So I interviewed Bud Dunham at the end of it, and Paula said, "Hey, you ever think about doing a show?" So, yay.
Yay. Well, that was a lot of fun. I think we had a lot of fun. We had some great experiences. We had a very interesting committee, to say the least, of some wonderful townspeople, and we pulled it off. And it was a great celebration of, the reopening of Town Hall. And again, that goes way back, and I have fond memories of that. I hope you do too. But anyway, besides that,
we worked
together on the first night committee. Yeah, Melinda brought first night to Sandwich, which was wonderful, and we that was great. You're justice of the peace. You work in the performing arts. You do comedy shows. You're in real estate. You've done everything. So you bring a good.
Not in real estate anymore.
Yeah. Yes.
No, I was
not anymore. Right.
Not anymore.
And obviously, your work over the years, again, we bring all sorts of things to the table because we come from various backgrounds. Another individual on the board is Robbie Hague. Robbie produces some great shows for Sandwich Community Television, has for many, many years. She started out with a show called Sandwich Seniority, which in another walk of life as a business owner, I've been on her show. I've been on a couple of her shows. Now she produces a show called Downtown, and it's quite interesting. And she's a character, and she loves it. Loves Sandwich Community Television. Lives in Plymouth, but just loves the work that SCT does and the people that work with her. Neil O'Brien is on the board. Neil, has been in town for a long time. 25 years or something like that. He works in the medical products industry, but he's sat on various boards, Council on Aging. He's in the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He raised his family here. Another interesting guy. John Vibberts. I don't even know how to describe John Vibberts when I think about all the stuff he's done. he has served on so many boards, it's not funny, but from finance committee to the capital improvements planning, Open Cape, the COA, he just goes on and on and on. We could do a whole show with just what has John Vibbert's done all his life. And he is, he's a supporter of Sandwich, and he loves it, and he loves being on the board as well. And then we've got Maureen Wicklund. Maureen is the assistant superintendent of schools. She was a teacher, a literary coach, curriculum director, again, raised her family and her kids here since 1998 also. So we've got some people that have been hanging around. And last but not least is Landon O'Brien. She grew up in Sandwich. She's a freelance journalist. She's a marketing manager for Seafood Sam's. And actually not last, then there's me. And that's right, that made 7. And, you know, I am currently the director of the Sandwich Chamber of Commerce, owned a business in town, home care, lived in Sandwich for 25 years, now in Plymouth. But again, it's my adopted hometown, love it, love what we do, you know, for the town, and it's all voluntary. And love what SCT is doing for the town. So I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I've got to meet so many more interesting people by being on the board. And we've had people come and go, but we have a nice little group.
Great.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah. And basically the job of the board is to be an overseer like most boards are. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right.
That's exactly right.
Good.
Yeah.
So Paula, tell me, here we are, you have a station out off of 130 and Jan Sebastian Way. You have a studio with all kinds of wonderful equipment, beautiful lighting, which is not being used at the moment because of COVID. Where does that money come from? Not from your pocket, right?
Comcast, because of a cable law that was, no, not really. Many years ago, the federal government passed a law that the cable companies had to contribute to public access in the towns and cities. So Comcast has a contract, or the town has a contract with Comcast, and the town in turn hires a nonprofit organization to supply that service to the town, which is public access, government access. So you have your ability to exercise your freedom of speech and your First Amendment right, and also to have transparency in your local government. And that's what we supply for the town. So there's a subscriber fee on each bill, and that money goes to the town. So that's 4.5%. It comes to the town gets 0.5% of that, and we get the other 4%. And that's how we manage our operation.
And so if the town of Sandwich changed cable providers, then would that next cable company have to do the same thing? Is it still a law?
Yeah, they'd negotiate with the town again, contract with them. So a lot of towns, like I think it's Plymouth, and a lot of the towns on the South Shore and in Boston area too, have Verizon and Comcast. But I think the likelihood of Verizon coming down here and installing fiber is probably not going to happen, because it's usually in a business community that's more concentrated, and we're mostly residential down here.
Right. Well, and we have that geographical barrier called the canal, where they'd have to run cable, right?
Right.
Or fiber optics, or whatever they do.
Expensive.
Yeah. So
yeah, and everything's going to a cell and internet anyway, so we'll see.
Yeah. So everything is also on YouTube, is it not? You have your own YouTube channel?
Oh yeah, we're on all social media platforms. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We have a YouTube channel, which is quite prolific. From day one, we posted on YouTube, and also we're on Vimeo too. And we're also all what we do with our government programming and our public access programming and our education programming too, is after this year is up, we will archive all our programming on archive.org. So we have our own channel there too. So we go all the way back to March of 2010 with our video on demand for all, every government meeting that we ever recorded, broadcast live, or every public access program we produced is there.
You mean
that would be fun to watch. That would be fun to watch us to see what we looked like then, 10 years ago, if we, you know, for any shows that we did back then. Right,
Oh,
I
Melinda?
was thinking Cape Conversations, that ought to be good.
Yeah,
Well, you know, Melinda, you haven't changed much because I do go down that rabbit hole every once in a while.
Oh, yes, I have.
I mean, especially the government meetings, it's really cool because you can go down and see the school committee from, like I said, 10 years ago.
Wow.
And just see how things have evolved, going through the whole breakup of the schools and the elementary schools and the consolidation of the STEM Academy and the high school. It's, if you're into that, it's really interesting to know that that's all there too. And we have had lawyers contact us for, you know, lawsuits or whatever, and used
Really?
our archive. And we're very impressed by the extent
And
of our
and what
archive.
is it called again?
Well,
What is it?
archive.org. It's
Archive.org.
archive.org. It's a nonprofit website, and it's even old radio shows. They have Orson Welles, the
Oh, wow.
Alien radio show. They have all kinds of old movies, but access channels, they actually create a channel for you because that's one of their main focus is like to make sure access channels have this archive.
Mhm.
And but then we created our own channel with a more condensed and all inclusive what we wanted on there, not just things that they'd pick and choose.
So if you wanted to go there, you'd go to archive.org/Sandwich Community Television.
No, but they have a search bar once
Oh.
you get in there. If you put in Sandwich Community Television,
I
our
see.
channel would come up. And
I
also there's a link on our website. So you'll have, say, the Board of Selectmen for 2020, 2021, and say archive here, and you click on that, it brings you right into the channel.
Wow.
So
Wow.
speaking of our website, you know, there's 3 ways to get into our streams. A lot of the reporters for the local paper and the Cape Cod papers use our streams because obviously they can't see our channels in town. So sometimes I'll get, you know, if there's an executive session, you know, and it runs past 7 o'clock, I'll get these little panicked text from writers saying, where's the meeting? And it's like, well, it's coming. So then I remember, oh, we also have a scroll that I could have put at the bottom, and I'll throw that on, which is great, again, because all our systems are online. So I can immediately say, you know, executive session, you know, pretty soon the meeting will come on or whatever. So that's another feature we have,
Oh, that's
which is
great.
very useful.
Well,
And it's for emergencies too.
it seems like public access has come a long way from Wayne's World,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Well, especially with the, it's come a long way. And it's not just like here and there. Before it was here and there were more progressive organizations, but it seems now across the board, there's a lot of younger people coming in and them, you know, using the old model to a certain extent, which was you kind of wait for someone to walk in the door who wanted to make a program. But we changed that model 10, 11 years ago that we would reach out to organizations in town and reach out to people like you, Melinda, and to Denise, the chamber, and say, how about we help you make a program?
Yeah.
You know, and it's all your content, but we supply the equipment and the talent and the editing and the production, you know, part of it. So that's really helped a lot, you know, changing that model. And so I think that also that we create our own productions, that it kind of ups the ante on the quality too. Like we just had Tyke submitted a mini documentary
Tyke
to the Mass
Magyar.
Access creator. Tyke
Tyke.
Magyar, who's on staff,
Yeah.
and he won first prize in the
Yeah.
documentary category. And it was called Language of the Unheard. So, you know, and that's not, we've won many, many awards with different organizations, with the programs that our producers have like you,
Mhm.
and also the things that we've created ourselves.
Well, I'm going to go back and say my favorite Cape Conversation was when we went to the Boston Light. It was amazing when we went out
I knew
you were gonna say
on the little boat. And it was.
And that was Neil O'Brien.
That was Neil O'Brien, right? Whom I
Right.
met through the board. I wasn't on the board at that time, but I
Right.
met him at that
Right.
point.
Right.
I would never have had an experience like that here had I not been doing what I'm doing. So, and especially wearing a flotation suit at my stature and demeanor, it was quite amazing. Quite amazing, quite amazing for sure.
And we have a
That was
picture of that.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, I've seen some pictures of that. I think Paula was in one as well. You
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
you were all decked out.
Yeah.
Perfect.
They are.
And then us waving. You didn't go up to the lighthouse that day.
No, I know the second time we went, I didn't. No.
Melinda, the other thing I was going to say,
Yeah.
when Paula was just talking about, I mean, I just feel like, I mean, given the year that we had last year, and I, you know, I know we're probably sick of talking about it, but SCT was really, really, you know, able to do a great job and bring all those public service announcements to anyone who wanted to see it. And they posted on their Facebook page, and the chamber would share it, and it would be on Sandwich News and Sandwich Scoop, so that you could really hear what is going on. And it was a way for the town, for especially Dave Mason, the health department, and Joanne Geck, the nurse, to get information out to as many people who were interested in listening to it. And they could do this so easily because of all the work that they've done previously, just to do everything remotely. As
Right.
Paula was saying, they don't have to go in. They can do everything from afar. And even you, look at you. I mean, you can't do any shows face to face. So hence the fuzzy slipper. So it's kind of cool, you know, because we just muddled right along, and everything it's almost as if nothing happened, but in a different way. And I was going to use that word pivot, but
almost like preparing for this day, you know, all along.
Right.
That all systems are go, like from
Right.
day one. So we've done over, I think it's probably in the 50s now, how many PSAs we've done with the town.
Yeah.
And then we did that project with Dave Mason too. We go back with Dave Mason, the wastewater, the animated wastewater informational series, which was really great. And that was Robin Waples, who was a graduate of Sandwich High School, who now and went to the Savannah School of Art and Design, and now works in Manhattan for CBS Sports. So
Wow.
we've had a lot of kids come through also through the program, because we used to do the program before the Sandwich High School Media Center now has a teacher, and also it's Dan Riley and then Jared Giotto, and they're the ones who kind of oversee the radio and the Sandwich High School Media Center. But before that, we started a radio club 10 years ago and had the Blue Crew, and they used to do the cameras at town meeting, which of course now they're all remote. We updated all that at the auditorium. But so many wonderful students have come through our program and gone on to either broadcasting school or art school, and we still have relationships with them. So it will pull them in, like someone like Robin, when it's like this, you know, we need a professional illustrator, and there she is, and hook her up with the town. And so that's been a very wonderful, rewarding part of my job, is always having these young people around that are so talented and being able to let them shine.
How many staff members do you have?
well, that's also a nice segue into just talking about
Well, there's 4 of us full-time, and then there's Nick Polidor, who, like I said, has been with us since high school, and now he's a student at Bridgewater, and Fitchburg, and he programs the radio station. I mean, the radio station it's really good. I mean, he's a music aficionado, and he's also always loading up new music. It's so current. In fact, when the stream does go down, I get this email from a person in town, and he immediately would tell me, Paula, the stream's down, because he's like addicted to the station. But we've gotten emails from Russia saying that they dance around the kitchen when the music's on, because, you know, it's international, you know, because of streams. So,
Yes.
so we have Robin. Huh?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Robin Segura, who I've known for years and years. We met at the New England Telephone many, many years ago. And I knew how talented Rob was, and he was doing some work after he had an early retirement with the phone company. And I met him one day at the chamber, and I went up to him and I said, hey, you know, if you ever, you know, have time, or you want to go back into the workforce, I have an opening down at Sandwich TV, and I would love to have you come down. And then probably about 3 or 4 months later, he came in, he goes, okay, I'm ready, you know. And his job grew. He was the first media center. He helped me grow that program there with Jim Schneider, who used to be around town and was, you know, a wonderful volunteer in town. And then it turned into an operations manager. So that's what he does. He's kind of like my right-hand guy for technical stuff. If it gets too complicated or more advanced, like something we don't know, we have contractors that we bring in for the high tech stuff. And yeah, he's just a great all around guy, very talented, very creative, just so fortunate to have someone like Rob. And then there's Taiki Magyar, who again, we've known since high school. He was one of the kids in the program, used to do government meetings for us, like super talented guy, you know, went to Northeastern for video media type. And then when he came out, he traveled around for a while, and we hooked up again, you know, when he was back in town, and I asked him if, you know, he'd come on board, and he's again been a huge asset, kicked up the creative and quality of work that we do, like 100%. And then there's Alex Ranchero, who I met through Nick, actually, and when he graduated from Bridgewater, took him on, and he's grown in the role. He's a very talented filmmaker also, like Taiki. Made his own independent film last year, which now because of the COVID, we haven't been able to really push it out there. But wait till you see it. It's just an amazing body of work, you know, what he's done with Taiki's help too, you know, on the cinematography end. And also there's this group of young filmmakers on Cape Cod that they've all hooked up with, especially Taiki has coordinated with Cape Media and different media centers on the Cape. And they get together and they make these little, you know, mini movies, mini documentaries, and high quality stuff, you know, that we have. And then of course there's, yeah, so it's just, they all are very different people, yet they all blend together. They all have different talents that they bring to do. Some of the talents overlap, but they're always there for me. They're so cooperative, and they're a wonderful team of people. Very fortunate to have them.
Denise, I interrupted you, but accidentally.
It's really fine. I was just, I know you talked a lot of, Paula, about the students that you've had from that blue group that you referred to, but I thought maybe you'd talk a little bit about the camp. And I know we couldn't do it in 2020, but talk a little bit about that. That's also younger kids that you're trying to bring up into high school to be interested to get into this next group.
Right. So we started that probably about 3 or 4 years ago, the video camp, and it's a week-long camp. It's 8 to 2 in the afternoon. And it's 5 days a week, and the staff actually acts as mentors. And we also bring in high school kids that are involved in our program at that time. And they instruct the kids in production, editing, you know, storyboarding, and it's just a wonderful week. I mean, the people like had started like even during the end of, well, not the beginning of COVID, really, like last spring, just saying, oh, is there some way we can do this virtually? Or is there any way you can continue the program? But there really wasn't, because it's such a tiny area, and the staff was really hesitant about that type of thing. So we decided that we just have to put it off till next year. So hopefully this summer we'll revise that. So it is, and the idea was to expose the kids a little bit younger than high school, or even STEM would start like in the 6th or 7th grade, and let them know about the media center at the high school, because that's a very unique feature to have at a high school, that we have, number one, a radio station that really no one has, and also this thriving media center that's state of the art up there. And Dan Riley is just a super duper teacher, and they're learning so much. So we just thought if we could give them a prelude to what they could experience up at the high school, that would be a good thing. And also know the opportunities at Sandwich High School. I mean, we have students that do the government meetings, and it's a nice little job. It's a nice little part-time job, and a great civics education, which we saw that we need around here. So these kids are so well, they're so well versed about how their local government works and the ins and outs of, you know, how the school system works. And it's really been a great education for them.
Well, that's great.
Good.
That's good. Well, I'm telling you right now, for me, as somebody who gets to host something, I am thrilled with it. I'm thrilled with it because, first of all, I'm one of those people that doesn't have Comcast. I have Sputnik in my backyard, which is what my daughter has called it since we got it. And so I get everything through YouTube now. I go onto YouTube to be able to share it and whatever. But what's wonderful about having a channel on YouTube is I have friends and family all over the country, and they go on to see things. I'll tell them about something interesting coming up on SCTV, and they'll go take a look at it. Well, I mean, obviously they like to watch me, at least I think they do, but they also like to watch other programming as well. So I think that makes it really, really unique and wonderful. Now, at one time you had memberships to SCTV, but you don't do that anymore. Is that correct? Or do you?
Well, people can join if they want, but
Okay.
our philosophy too is that we get our funding from the town, and
Okay.
to ask people to pay again, it just didn't seem
Yeah.
necessary. All we ask is if someone comes in and they want to use the equipment, because they can, anyone in Sandwich can borrow our equipment, that they register as a member.
Right.
Just so we have, for insurance purposes too, that we have a name and address and we know where
Right.
things are. But other than that, we don't really concentrate that much on that aspect of it. No.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and I have found that I've been able to, with my program, do anything I really want to do. As long as I don't get too
Yeah.
risque, it's okay.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing about public access television is you really can do anything you want, anything goes. So you've
Yeah.
been very good about not going out too far on a limb for us.
No,
You haven't brought out the red boa, Melinda.
No,
The
I
red
haven't,
boa
nor the
and
blue
doing a
one.
dance.
Nor the blue one. Denise.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway,
I'm sorry, you have two.
yeah, oh, I actually have 3. I have a hot pink one too. So, I'm not going to tell you what I do with them, but it's quite fun. Anyway, just use your
See,
imagination.
now somebody would.
What? See, you're right. Somebody's gonna write in and say to Paula, that woman.
I know. This is opening the door.
I know. Anyway, so
My fault.
the other good thing is, just like you, Denise, I am very fortunate because I go to the grocery store and people bombard me with questions about SCTV. So, or they say, "Oh, you're that woman," and I always go, "What woman would that be?" "Oh, that one on that show. Aren't
Yeah.
you on the Selectman's channel?" That kind of thing. So,
You're a local celebrity.
yes, very, in an area this big, about there. So anyway, I want to thank you both today. You've cleared up some questions that I had, and I'm sure a lot of folks out there have. So I appreciate your time so very, very much. You both are terrific. I consider you both good friends. And listen, you guys be safe out there. You're wearing your mask still, right? Nobody's gotten a shot, right? You haven't gotten shots. No shots.
Nope, not eligible yet.
Yeah, me
We're
either.
waiting patiently.
I know. It's hard though, isn't it?
Look at them.
Don't you?
Yeah, but if you just, you got to wait your turn and just keep staying safe. We've come this far. You've heard this a million times.
Yeah.
We're on the home stretch. So I'm just, I'm not whining about it.
No, I know.
You got to
Well,
just
it's-
kind of stay cool, right?
Yeah, well, it's this new strain that has me a little bit concerned, but I'm not going anywhere. As I told you before we started off camera, that I haven't been out of the house in 4 days. So today I'm making an adventure out. I'm going to go up and clear my car off.
Hey.
Yay!
Yay.
Big day.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's a big day. I'm going to work. That has saved me a little bit, so that's good.
that would be good. Well, my work was all stopped, so because of COVID. So anyway,
I
it
know,
is what it
right?
is. We keep moving forward, one foot in front of the other. Anyway, Paula, thank you so much. You're a great executive director. You're kind of quasi boss executive director to me. So I appreciate all your help in getting on what we do. So I do appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Melinda. You didn't mention you've done over 150 shows with Cape Conversations.
No,
and
I
continue
Wow.
Cape Conversations during the pandemic called Fuzzy Slipper Edition.
I know. I think we ought to change my
That's
opening.
quite-
Put a little fuzzy slipper in there or something. We should have changed the
Oh,
opening.
but remember, that's the only time you said anything to us. Like the guys tried to change your opening.
Oh,
And
I
we
didn't
were
like.
like,
I
don't
didn't like
change.
the music. I didn't like the music. They can't pick the music. That's the thing. Anyway,
Well, you're the producer. You get to pick.
I get to pick. Yeah.
Can I just say like some of the things we're working on before
Oh,
we go?
yes,
just so
please.
people
I'm
know
so
that they're
sorry. Yep.
right?
absolutely. I meant to
Okay,
ask.
so we're doing a couple of mini documentaries on people in town. One is Bobby Gage, the other one is hopefully Howard Crowell, because we work with FOSTA, the Friends of the Sandwich Town Archives. And we've been doing that for 10 years and getting people's stories down and getting them in the town
Nice.
archives. But we have a wonderful interview with Howard Crowell, and he just passed away recently. So we'll just get in touch with the family and make sure that, you know, when they're ready for this type of thing.
Yeah.
But we have some wonderful footage. And also Joan Osgood is doing a mini documentary on Alan Osgood, who was a selectman many, many years ago in town, who went mysteriously missing. So this murder mystery that she's put together, this incredible, never usually a fan of PowerPoints, but she showed it to me last year before this all happened. And I was blown away. It was like, you know, another talent you have, Miss Osgood. And I said, we have, you know, let's make something out of this. So she's doing a voiceover and Alex is helping her with that.
Oh, nice.
And also talked to Trish McDonald from the Rec and Guy Bouchard. And because the grist mill and the Hoxie House can't be open this year because of budget issues, and also because the docents are older people and they're not really comfortable being in that situation, we're going to do informational little, again, mini documentaries about each one of those locations. And she talked about having QR codes that would explain, you know, have this, you could just do a QR code and then we'll go into this whole program that we'll make and maybe expand that to the whole town with all the historic homes.
Nice.
So that's something that's, we're helping the town develop. And I know the chamber has always been interested in something like that too. So maybe this is the catalyst that will get this going.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
You know, as bad as the pandemic has been, some good things have come out of it. Some really innovative, creative things have come out of it that I think that are here to stay.
And that's good. There's always, out of bad,
Yeah.
always something good comes. So that's wonderful thing.
Right.
That's wonderful. Good, good, good.
Sure.
Well, ladies,
Well,
thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh.
Does this make 152 or 153? Keep
I know,
talking.
really. I told him we could keep talking and talking till the cows come home here.
I know.
Yep, we
I
could.
know.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, thank you
Okay.
again.
thanks, Melinda.
I appreciate
Thank
seeing you both. Paula Johnson, Executive Director, and Denise Dever, President of the Board of the Sandwich Community Television. Wow, what two great women to be running media in the town of Sandwich. They are doing a great job. Lots going on. I am fortunate to be a part of it. I hope you're watching us on YouTube, on Vimeo, on Facebook, on Comcast. It's all very important and it's all great news for you. So I want to thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time on another Cape Conversation.